Welcome to Just Talking About Jesus. Today's guest is Faith Ajiga. She's a multifaceted creative force serving as both a podcaster and an accomplished author with a passion for storytelling that spans genres. Faith's literary journey is characterized by gripping crime, thriller, and suspense novels. A bachelor's degree holder from the National Open University of Nigeria, Faith's fascination with politics began to take root during her days in the university, where she read peace studies and conflict resolution. Today, she channels this interest into crafting compelling narratives within the realm of political, military, and crime thrillers. Faith is the founder of the Christian Writers and Readers Club, an online community where Christian readers can discover new authors and books. Faith, I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to do this with you. It's been a while though, so I hope I don't get to disappoint.
Oh, no, I just can't even possibly imagine you disappointing. What a great, what a great thing. Tell us a little bit
Well,
about you.
sorry.
Tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, okay. As you mentioned earlier, my name is Faith, and yeah, I'm from Nigeria. Currently in Nigeria, I'm an author, a podcaster, and I love Jesus. And I gave my life to Christ back in 2009. Since then, I've been, following him, not really strongly, for some years, because I didn't really know that much about God. And I was born in a Christian home, but I really gave my life to Christ back in 2009. Then in 2016, when when I gained an admission into the university, I came back home and I was like, okay, Lord, I'm here and I want to rededicate my life to you. And I did my rededication to Christ back in 2016. Then my journey with him started. I started my writing career, So, to cut the long because I should tell you a little about me. So I did my baptism in 2009, and well, the journey has been wonderful with Christ. There has been lots of trials, but God has been faithful through everything. And yeah, I just to add this one, I am blind. Yep. So
Mhm.
everything I do on my phone, my computer is with a screen reader.
Tell us a little bit about that because there's a lot of people that don't know about what adaptive things are, just how you get by. Tell us about things that maybe that you use that help you, like using the computer or writing even.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm blind. It started from childhood. I was diagnosed with cataract at when I was just 6 months old. Then my we did a surgery at the age of 1. You know, um, cataract is removable via surgery, but mine was a failed surgery, so it ended up damaging my sight beyond medical repair. That was back in 1995, 96. So it's been a long time. So I should, believe that there should be some medical remedy to my sight condition right now, but I haven't really taken out the time to check. So moving forward, it was something I had to grow up with. I had to, be bullied by classmates, other kids, my church, school, around, just around my environment. But I had a supporting and caring parents that always told me you can do this, you can make it in life, and I believed them. Then
Mhm.
I went through secondary school, university, and it was in the university that I discovered my love for writing. because well, I don't really know if I should say I discovered it, or that's a different story on its own. I can come back to that one if you like.
Hmm.
So, but moving forward, we had this laptop. I was given a laptop to go through my university education, which had a screen reader, came with a screen reader, and I also had a phone, an Android phone at the time, and also that also had a screen reader. So with my screen reader, I'm able to do anything, virtually everything a sighted person can do on their phone as well. So it's been helping me navigate life on the internet, which of course for someone with my condition who doesn't go out that much, online is the next best thing for us. When you talk about places where we can go and be
Hmm.
social or meet other people, yeah. So it's very easy that way, especially because of the kind of place where I live. So someone with my sight is sort of like you face this unspoken stigma. So you go to a gathering, a function, and you have to stay one place.
Yeah.
Nobody's carrying you around, and nobody, because people are looking at you and like, what am I going to discuss with this person? So they just leave you, and well, it's been a serious challenge. Even though it's been long, 29 years now. If you ask me if I still prefer to be sighted to this, I'd say yes, 100 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but with the help of my screen reader, I am able to do everything that I'm doing, and I'm so happy and I'm grateful for that.
Wow. And I suppose that, technology has advanced a lot more to be helpful, to take into account the things that you need to be able to be successful. But I'm just so proud of you, Faith, for going through
Thank
college
you.
and going beyond what even a lot of sighted people do. That's just so impressive.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this. Thank you.
Besides being an author, you're a podcaster as well.
Yeah, that was how we met. Yes.
Yeah, so I was able to be interviewed by Faith on her podcast about my writing, and what a delight that was. It was, it was just a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
experience. And so um, you've written 4 books. How do you use fiction as a tool to speak truth into current society and political issues? Tell us about your books. So the things that you've written and uh, kind of what motivated you to write them.
Okay. First off, I've published I've written 5 books, but
Mm.
yeah, yeah, but I also have other short stories that I've put in for magazines, anthologies, anthology collections, and so on. So I have lots of works, but I guess the ones that are officially published under my name as a thriller author is um there are 5 of them. Yes.
Okay.
Then yeah, what motivates me? Oh my, I'm sorry. Let me turn off my screen reader. It's distracting me. Let me turn it off. Okay, so yeah, let me. Your question was, what motivates me, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, yeah. Back in school, I read peace studies and conflict resolution. So it's something that the peace studies and conflict resolution. So it's something that deals with conflict, but the one you have within you, that's an intra-conflict, then inter-conflict between 2 or more persons, between 2 or more groups, between 2 or more nations, between 2 or more continents. So we studied this from personal level down to the world stage, and that included the World War II. So, well, mostly our studies were centered around Africa, and countries in Africa, the wars, and everything, and how people were breaking boundaries, the successes we've made over the years, and the ones and our faults and failures. So I became really intrigued because growing up, my dad always wanted us to always watch the news. He'd be like, tune this to CNN. I'd like to see, and we're like, oh, come on. We're just like every other kids, wanted to watch movies,
Right.
wanted to watch, play games. Yeah, listen to, watch Disney World and all that because we had the satellite in my home. But my dad would always come back and he'd be like, change this. I want to watch the news. And, back then it got to a point he had to um get a television in our own room so that when he comes home, when he returned, yeah, when he returned home, he'd be able to watch and listen to the news at the living room. So whenever he came back home, we just disappeared immediately. Like, okay, dad, welcome, welcome, and we just disappear into our rooms to continue watching our movies. So, um studying all this, the wars and everything, I realized that I was a bit intrigued. And I was like, wow, is this what has been happening in the country, the continent, and all over the world? So there I decided to, go deeper, do my own personal reading. So I got lots of books, started reading, or, reading stuff about different governments, about wars that's taking place, the First World War, the Second World War, the Cold War, the Gulf War, and even the American Civil War. So I've been, reading, and it got me intrigued. Plus, I started following the news closely. This was something that I couldn't do as a child or even as a teenager. But yeah, I was in my early 20s, and I was, I was, intrigued. It was something that I couldn't tear myself away from. So that's when I said, okay. Back in 2020, because I started writing in 2017, but in 2019, I started, writing Christian fiction books. So I completed my first book back in early 2020, and it was the pandemic. And I was asking God, okay, what do I write? What do I write next? I was so confused, had lots of story ideas in my head.
Uh-huh.
I was a bit confused. I didn't know what direction to take next with my writing. Then one day my sister, gave me a book by Joe Rosenberg, this titled The 12th Imam. And I read this book, and while I was reading it, I heard God's voice telling me, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take this kind of writing and replicate it with what's going on in the country. So I'm from Nigeria, and Nigeria has lots of issues, politically, economically, and socially. Even so there's lots of security issues and lots of kidnapping. My own dad has been kidnapped twice, and we
Really?
had to pay. Yes, and we had to pay for those for both. We had to pay both times for him, pay a huge ransom for his release from the hands of the kidnappers. And Nigeria has a very strong terrorist group known as Boko Haram. It's an Islamic terrorist group, and it's been recognized globally and even by the US. Um, um Terrorism department. I think that's of the FBI. Can't remember their official name. So, but this was what happened, and I clearly heard God telling me, that replicate this with what's going on in your country, what's going on in Nigeria, and well, that was how I took it, and I've been running with it since then.
Yeah, and I think it's so good to be able to read something similar to what you want to write because it also, especially as a new writer, to get an idea of even how to go about it. Because you're right, you have a whole bunch of ideas, but how do you put them down in a way that makes sense? So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
that is really interesting. Yeah. So how has your faith journey shaped your writing and what you're doing with that?
Wow. Thank you. I've experienced lots of challenges, when I started writing that several times. I had to stop and ask, God, are you the one really sending me on this? Or was I just intrigued by this man's writing, this author's writing? And I was like, okay, if you're the one, show me what to do. And since 2020, when I graduated since 2020, and since then, since then, I've been applying for jobs, but haven't been able to get any official job. I just get maybe a gig once or twice, and but and I yes, there were times I was frustrated. Sometimes I called my sister and I was like, I can't do this again. I can't do this because I was writing, but I really wasn't getting what I needed to sustain me financially to write. So it was during those times that I was, going through life, and I had to, and I realized that God was, using it to process me. There were several stuff, God was trying to prune me to make sure that I become, you know, the kind of person that reflects the kind his life in me, his glory in me. And it was a challenge. Like I said, there were lots of discouraging times. There were times, my mom was a bit fed up, and she was like, okay, you go get a job, you go get married and leave my home.
Hmm.
And you know so I went through all that stuff. There were times you tell me, what you're writing is it more important than, the food we're gonna eat in this house, and it was a very tense moment, and I found myself clinging more onto, to God, and I kept, there were times I telling God, I'm so frustrated, I'm tired, I don't know what to do, but I still tell Him that okay, I love you, and I know you're faithful. Just help me to go through this. Help me to realize. Help me to stand. Help me to still, in spite of everything, present myself to you as and my work to you as a living sacrifice. So this journey has really improved me spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and it's really shaped me, shaped my faith journey with God, because that's helped me to trust more in Him.
Isn't that just like God to do though? Because he sees even like let's say you take the story of Joseph. I mean, first of all, he's rejected by his brothers and he gets sold and he goes to Egypt and he's in the Pharaoh's house and all this, but every step of the way is because God's end plan was for him to be able to save a nation, but he had to learn the leadership skills in order
Mm.
to do that, right? And
Yeah.
and God does the same with us, it's just he takes us, he knows what the end game is, and he knows the desire of our hearts. So
Yes.
I think he takes whatever he knows as he does. He knows us through and through.
Mm-hmm.
So he can take us
Yeah.
to that place that will fulfill the desires of our heart.
Yeah, yes. Because it got to a point where it was too much. At some point, I'd be like, okay, maybe I should turn back, because I had lots of discouragement. So many people would call me and say, what are you writing? What do you know you're writing? Just come over here, come and stay with us, and we'll help you get a job. We'll help you do this. But I knew God wasn't, allowing me to go to those places, and I'd stay back. At some point, I had to move out of my family home, go stay with my younger sister, who is a police officer. And yeah, it's really been a hard journey, but it's something that I don't really regret walking through.
Mhm. Mhm. Wow, that's neat. So you are all of your stories set in Africa? Are all of your stories have a setting in Africa?
Oh, sorry, come again.
Yeah, okay. Do all of your stories have settings in Africa?
Yeah, they do, but I think how I'm gonna put it this I'm gonna put it this way. I have a book of mine titled The Kano Cipher. So it's set in Nigeria and the United States. Then
Okay.
I have this book coming out this year. That should be in September, and it's set in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is in Africa, and it's set in the United States. It's set in France, and it's set in China.
Oh,
So yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I like to write stories that has Africa in it, but I like to do it on a global stage, make the stake higher, yeah, so that people from, because I have lots of readers right now in the United States, so even more than I do over here in Nigeria. So it's really been wonderful how God is working everything out for his good. So in order to make sure that I give my readers what they're familiar with, I try to bring in different parts of the world and give them what they would like reading. That's what Joe Rosenberg does with his books. He sets his book in Middle East, North Africa, and the United States. And since I heard God clearly, telling me to replicate this with what's happening on the African continent, that's what I've been doing. And my book, Jungle Justice, is set in Nigeria and the United States. Yeah, so that's how I've been writing my books.
And doesn't it do you do some challenging our assumptions about justice and vengeance then in that particular book, right?
Yeah, actually, Jungle Justice is actually a story that is based on a real life story. Yes, it features the lynching of a girl, a college student who died, who was killed, and her body was set on fire back in May 12th, 2022. Yes. So yeah, to cut it long, and then I also featured lots of terrorism. So it's a bit, the book is the story is it's scary. So some people read it and they're like, oh, this book is too tense for me, and I think I'm gonna have to stop here. But if anyone who likes political thrillers, military thrillers, and can stand the tough parts, then I would highly recommend the book to them, because though it's based on a real life story, there are also some fictional elements in the book that would keep the reader going and hopeful for the future as well.
It sounds like something that would make a good movie.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I can see all kinds of action parts going and cutting back and forth and
Oh. Yes, yes.
yeah, yeah.
And most times people recommend my book to male readers, in the industry, because I think that's really what um male fiction readers, people who love reading Christian fiction, political and military thrillers, likes to read, because there's little to no romance in my books. I'm sorry, but I'm not really good with romance.
Yeah,
So
well,
I just deal with the hard stuff, and everything that just goes boom.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, you could do an audiobook though and have sound effects in the back of it too.
whoa, that's it. I never really thought of it that way, but it's something huge to consider. I just completed an audio book of a short story I wrote last year, titled Operation Red Viper. So Operation Red Viper. So I think I'm going to put what you said to consideration, and I'll see if I would add the effects before publishing that one. Thanks for that suggestion.
Yeah, yeah. So what's next in your what's God telling you to do next?
So I have a little issue currently with some personal stuff that I'm working on, and I'm that in that area I'm asking God for His direction, and yeah, I haven't gotten any clear next step to take, but there are some things I'm trying to do right now, which is I'm trying to, like I said, I have a book coming up in September, and it's titled um this silent protest is also based on a real life story. I could explain that one if we still have more time. And I have a Christmas thriller coming up, and this thriller is set in the United States, um, Israel, and I'm trying to think of this third country. I'm so sorry. It's been a while. I wrote the I touched the book. So I'm currently at the editing stage. Yeah, Morocco, Marrakesh in Morocco.
Oh,
So Morocco is North Africa, yes, and it has something to do with the CIA, two CIA agents, who one is from originally from the United States, and one is a Nigerian who went to school in the States and got uh, inducted into the CIA. So she and him they go on this quest to find this missing relic from known as the Star of Jerusalem. So it's something that I'm currently working on, and I was going to publish it last Christmas, but was unable to do that. So I'm hoping I get to release it this November.
yeah. Oh, that sounds interesting. Very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Thank
well,
you.
we're running out of time. I'm going to put links to your books and all of your podcasts and things into the show notes so people can find you. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
Um, well, if there's something I'd add there is to say that where anywhere I find myself, able to talk about myself and what I do, I'm really, really grateful for that. And first of all, I'd like to say that it's all God and He is faithful and He is very good. And I'd also like to say thank you so much to you, Jan. I was so excited, getting an invitation to come here. And I'm so glad and I'm, grateful for what you're doing. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to be interviewed.
Well, I'm just happy to have been able to spend some more time with you because you're just a fun, fascinating person. So, thank you so much.
I lost you.
Yeah, I'm just happy
Oh,
that,
okay.
okay, I'm just happy that I got to spend time with you again because it just, you're a delightful person and it's just been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.